Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into K-pop. And not just the catchy stuff you hear everywhere, we're looking at the whole kind of meticulously crafted world behind it. It's this global phenomenon, right? And it seems to tap into these really deep human things like connection, aspiration. Our mission here is to pull out the core insights, maybe some surprising truths behind, the glitter. It's way more layered than you might think.
Oh, it absolutely is, yeah.
Yeah.
The sources we looked at, they give this incredible view. We can trace K-pop from its really interesting origins right through to its massive global impact today. We're talking culture, economy, even the ethics of it all.
Yeah.
And we'll connect it back to your own internal system. You'll see how it kind of mirrors K-pop's whole structure. It's fascinating.
Okay, let's start with the basics then. For someone who maybe just knows the name, what is K-pop fundamentally? Because it feels like, I don't know, more than just a music genre.
You're totally right. It is. K-pop, Korean pop originates in South Korea. But yeah, that definition barely scratches the surface. It's this vibrant mix, a fusion. You get pop, hip-hop, R&B, EDM, rock elements too. Sometimes even traditional Korean music gets woven in. It's a real melting pot of sound.
And beyond the sound, it's the look, isn't it? It's this high-energy visual spectacle. It's not just listening.
Yes, that's crucial. K-pop is just as much a feast for the eyes. It's defined by this super polished, performance-first approach. Think like incredibly sharp choreography, really distinct fashion that actually sets trends globally. The music videos are often these elaborate, almost cinematic short films. And the idols themselves, their images are so carefully curated. Personality, visuals, that deep fan interactions, all part of it.
So it's like a whole aesthetic universe you step into, a complete cultural product, you could say.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. It's a multi-sensory experience. Music, dance, beauty, narrative, all bundled into this complete immersive package. It's really engineered to captivate you.
It feels like it just exploded globally, like recently. But that engineered perfection must have deeper roots, right? Where did this really start?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't overnight. The group that most people credit with really sparking modern K-pop is Seo Taiji and Boys. Back in 1992, they were kind of revolutionary because they started mixing Western styles, hip-hop, techno with Korean lyrics. That really set the stage. That led into the first generation, mid-90s, groups like HOT, SES. That's when the whole idol-focused system started to, take shape.
And that's when the Korean wave Hallyu started spreading.
Exactly. The second generation, say mid-2000s to early 2010s, that's when it really started expanding globally, especially across Asia. Girls like TVXQ, Girls' Generation, they became huge. That was Hallyu really taking off, spreading Korean music, dramas, culture, everything. Then the third generation, maybe 2010 to 2020 roughly, BTS, Blackpink, achieving just, unprecedented global fame. Social media, YouTube, that was the fuel. K-pop became a truly international industry.
And now we're in the fourth generation. Stray Kids, aespa. What makes this era different seems like they're pushing boundaries even more.
Yeah, the fourth gen, from around 2020 onwards, it's marked by even bolder experimentation. Musically, sure, but also crucially with technology. We're seeing virtual idols now, AI helping with choreography, even whole concerts in the metaverse with avatars. K-pop isn't just an export anymore. It's this global, tech-savvy cultural force that's kind of blurring the lines of reality.
Which brings us to how this whole intricate machine is actually built. Because it's not just artists doing their own thing, right? It's a system.
No, not at all. It's largely driven by a few major entertainment companies. You hear about the big four, right? SM, YG, JYP, and HYBE. These aren't just record labels. They scout talent, often really young, and they train them, cultivate them for years, usually, before they even think about debuting. It's like a talent pipeline.
This idol system, the training, it sounds less like music school and more like, I don't know, Olympic training for pop stars. What's involved?
It's incredibly demanding. Yeah. Trainees, some are as young as 11, 13 maybe. They go through these multi-year boot camps. Imagine like 15-hour days practicing every single day for years under constant evaluation. And it's not just vocals, rap, dance, though that's intense. It's languages, English, Japanese, Mandarin usually, media training, image crafting, etiquette lessons, even acting sometimes. And the tough reality is only a very, very small fraction of those trainees actually make it to debut.
With that level of control and intensity, it's maybe not surprising there's a darker side. Those contracts, they've been called slave contracts. What's the story there?
Yeah, the sources definitely talk about that. Historically, that term slave contracts came up because they were just notoriously strict, often really long durations, like 7 years, maybe more. Companies had immense control over personal life. Dating, weight, appearance, all heavily managed. and the pay, often surprisingly low, especially early on, despite the huge profits the groups generated. Now, it's important to say things have gotten more regulated due to public outcry and legal challenges, but the industry is still incredibly demanding.
Okay, so after going through all that training under these tough contracts,
Right.
they hit the global stage, and their influence is just huge. How does K-pop impact global culture beyond the charts?
Oh, it's transformative. K-pop has this knack for blending global trends with Korean style in a way that just clicks worldwide, and the stars themselves, absolute fashion icons. They dictate trends, streetwear, makeup, beauty standards. Their influence reaches far beyond Korea.
And we see so many big international collaborations now. That must boost the reach massively.
Absolutely. You know, BTS with Halsey, Blackpink working with Dua Lipa, Stray Kids, and Charlie Puth. These aren't just random features. They really bridge cultures, bring fan bases together. And yeah, the music videos, the performances, they consistently break records on YouTube, streaming platforms. It shows that undeniable global appeal. They set new standards for visuals.
But what about the language? For a lot of fans, especially in the West, there's a barrier, isn't there? How do they connect so deeply with Korean lyrics?
That's what's so interesting. Fans often really embrace the Korean language. They'll actively look for translations, lyric videos, but often the emotional punch, the power of the performance itself, it kind of transcends the words.
Bro.
And you see loads of fans actually starting to learn Korean because of K-pop. It becomes the bridge, really, not a wall.
Thinking about the music itself, the musical and aesthetic trends, what styles are actually in the K-pop mix? It feels so varied.
It really is a melting pot. You get everything. High-energy hip-hop, like some of BTS's earlier stuff, futuristic electropop and EDM sounds like aespa or EXO, smooth R&B, soul influences are really common too, sometimes retro funk vibes, and of course those powerful emotional ballads, especially for drama, OSTs, and visually. Every comeback, which is their term for a new release, it's a whole event, a whole world, really. Each one has a specific concept. Could be like a school theme, royalty, futuristic, anything. And that means coordinated outfits, makeup, hair colors, everything fits the theme. Plus these big cinematic music videos that feel like mini-movies. Groups often completely switch up their style, their whole aesthetic from one comeback to the next. Keeps things interesting.
Which raises a big question. What are the economic, maybe even political ripple effects of K-pop success? It's clearly more than entertainment. It's business. It's soft power for South Korea.
Oh, absolutely. K-pop is a massive export for South Korea. Multi-billion-dollar industry. A huge economic driver. It boosts tourism, fashion sales, cosmetics, even tech. You know, those big Samsung x BTS collaborations. It's a really key part of the Hallyu, the Korean wave phenomenon, which includes dramas, films, food, the whole cultural package. And beyond the money, K-pop definitely plays this soft power role, promotes Korean culture globally, helps build a positive image, but that also makes it vulnerable to political winds. We've seen things like Chinese boycotts of Korean idols when diplomatic relations get tense. Even BTS faced backlash in China over comments about the Korean War. So idol behavior is under this intense microscope. Any scandal can become a national, even international issue because they're seen as cultural ambassadors.
And the fans. K-pop fan culture is just something else. These fandoms seem incredibly organized, almost like global movements.
Oh, they really are. Each group has its fandom name, right? BTS's ARMY, Blackpink's Blinks. And these groups are unbelievably organized, pooling money for giant billboards, running streaming parties to boost chart positions, huge charity projects in the idols' names, buying massive ads in Times Square for birthdays. Their dedication is, well, pretty unparalleled.
And social media is the engine for all this, right? That's where it all happens.
Totally. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. They're central. K-pop fans are masters of hashtags, online voting, coordinated streaming, all designed to boost their idols' visibility and rankings. And the idols themselves use platforms like Weverse, VLive, Instagram for that direct connection, selfies, live streams, personal messages. It fosters that feeling of intimacy, even if it's from afar.
This kind of intense devotion, though, it leads to stan culture, which can be amazing, building community, but it has a shadow side too, doesn't it? The obsessive part.
That's very true. The support can be incredibly passionate, really positive. But yeah, unfortunately, it can turn toxic. You get fierce fan wars between fandoms. Cancel culture erupts over perceived mistakes by idols or even other fans. And then there are the sasaengs. Those are the obsessive fans who cross lines, invade privacy. It gets scary.
Which leads us right into the ethical side of things, starting with production. It's fascinating how much labor and potential exploitation goes into creating this sparkling end product.
Yeah, the schedules idols keep are just grueling, often very little sleep, very little privacy or personal freedom. And those contract, like we mentioned, the slave contract label wasn't for nothing. Long durations, intense control over their lives, dating, weight, and often poor pay, especially starting out even when the group is making millions. This intense pressure cooker environment, it's sadly contributed to a real mental health crisis in the industry. Depression, burnout, and tragically, even suicides.
And the beauty standards seem almost impossible to meet.
They really are extreme. Immense pressure to fit these very specific, often unrealistic beauty and body ideals. Plastic surgery is common, sometimes even encouraged. Starvation diets are kind of normalized to get that look. And what's important is these standards then get exported globally. They influence body image issues everywhere. Plus, there's often a lack of artistic autonomy. For many idols, the music, the image, the branding, it's decided by company committees for market appeal, which raises questions about, genuine artistry versus just a manufactured product.
Okay, so that's the production side. What about consumption? How fans engage? Are there ethical issues there too?
Definitely. On the consumption side, you see these really strong parasocial relationships forming. Fans feel this intense, one-sided emotional bond with idols. Now, that can be comforting for people, but it could also be manipulated. Fans might feel pressured to defend their idols by attacking critics, or feel guilty if they don't spend enough money mass buying albums to prove loyalty. Which connects to another concern: mass consumerism and waste. The pressure to buy multiple versions of the same album, endless merchandise, it creates so much plastic waste, unsold goods. It's common for fans to buy dozens of CDs just for one collectible photo card or a lottery ticket for a fan event. The actual CDs often get thrown away. And then there's the tribalism online. The intense loyalty can spill into really nasty fan wars, doxing, releasing private info, blacklisting critics. Loyalty can become this kind of moral shield where any criticism of the idol is seen as a personal attack. So if you zoom out, K-pop really looks like this double-edged sword. On one side, it brings people together globally through music, offers ways to explore identity. But the other edge, it can fuel intense nationalism, toxic fan behavior, push manufactured personas, and damaging beauty standards. It creates community, yes, but also potentially unhealthy parasocial obsession driven by commercial pressure.
Wow, okay. Given all that complexity, it's interesting to think about K-pop's origins. You mentioned Taiji, but also its roots in 90s Western pop, like boy bands, girl groups. How much did Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls influence K-pop?
Oh, it's a huge influence. Foundational, really.
Yeah.
K-pop's whole model, the group structure, the style, the global ambition owes a lot to those 90s Western groups. Take group dynamics and member roles.
Yeah.
Just like in the 90s, K-pop groups have these defined roles: leader, main vocal, rapper, dancer, visual, MACD, the youngest one. Each member often has a specific persona, right? Designed to appeal to different fans. That echoes how NSYNC or Spice Girls were marketed.
And the choreography, that perfect synchronization is such a K-pop signature.
Absolutely. Groups like NSYNC made tight choreo central. K-pop took that and just pushed it to the extreme. Years of training for these incredibly complex synchronized routines. Fashion and image control too. 90s groups had curated styles. K-pop refined that into an art form. Every comeback is a whole new visual concept, new branding. Even the music itself, that blend of pop, R&B, hip-hop. K-pop producers often point to 90s hitmakers like Teddy Riley or Max Martin as big influences. But even with those clear links, there are some key differences if you compare them directly. Formation in the West was often more organic or manager-driven, maybe. K-pop relies on that systematic, multi-year trainee boot camp. Training in the West was pretty informal if it happened at all. K-pop, intense, mandatory, years long. Western groups were usually English only. K-pop groups were often multilingual, strategically learning languages for global markets. And the release strategy is different. 90s pop was album cycles, tours. K-pop is all about the comeback, these intense periods with heavy visual concepts, tons of daily content. Fan interaction too. 90s was fan mail, concerts. K-pop uses live streams, fan apps, DMs, constant connection.
And here's the fascinating part. It feels like it's come full circle now, right? Western pop seems to be borrowing from the K-pop playbook.
Absolutely. You see Western stars like Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish collaborating directly with K-pop idols now. And some newer Western or global groups, like Now United or XG, they're explicitly adopting K-pop-style training systems, the meticulous promotion strategies, pre-debut teasers, concept photos, all of it. It really shows how dominant that K-pop engineered approach has become globally. Yeah. And to really get K-pop groups, you have to understand archetypes. These aren't just personalities, they're like strategic roles, carefully crafted personas designed to appeal. Think of it like casting a K-drama. You need that balance, that dynamic. For boy groups, common archetypes include the leader embodies responsibility, charisma, like RM from BTS. The visual of their looks are a major draw. Jin from BTS is often cited, the maknae the youngest, often evoking that nurturing instinct from fans, like Jungkook. Then you have others like the bad boy, maybe Suga, the clown or mood maker like V, the all-rounder, incredibly skilled, like Chinese Taemin, and the mysterious one, maybe Hyunjin from Stray Kids.
And girl groups have their own set of archetypes too, right?
Yeah.
Reflecting different kinds of appeal.
They absolutely do. Similar idea, slightly different flavors sometimes. You still have the leader, like Irene from Red Velvet, and the visual, maybe Jisoo from Blackpink, often representing classic beauty. The maknae roles there too, could be Lisa from Blackpink. Then there's the girl crush, fierce, independent. Jennie's often seen that way. The sweetheart, gentle, smiley, like Rosé. The quirky one, funny, unpredictable, memeable, like Chu was. And the performance powerhouses, the vocal queen, like Wendy from Red Velvet. And the dance rapper, like Lisa Gand or Yeji from ITZY, who just owned the stage.
So why are these archetypes so important? Why engineer the group this way? It seems like more than just personality.
Yeah, they're crucial. First, they help fans connect emotionally. You find your bias, right? The member who resonates with you, like a favorite character in a story. Second, they balance the group's overall image and emotional range. Make sure there's something for everyone. Agencies literally engineer the group chemistry, like crafting that perfect drama ensemble. And interestingly, idols can evolve or even subvert their archetypes over time. A cute maknae might become this sophisticated performer. A mysterious type might reveal a funny side, adds layers to their story. And there are some gender differences in how these are used. Typically, boy groups often seem to have a slightly broader range of personas, allowed from goofy to brooding, maybe perceived as having a bit more freedom. Girl groups sometimes seem confined to a narrower spectrum, either very soft or very fierce. Their image can feel more tightly controlled. It plays out in performance energy too. Boy groups might show competitive intensity. Girl groups often navigate that duality of girl crush versus cute, which, raises that philosophical question again. How much is real? How much is crafted? Are fans loving a person or just a really well-played role?
Okay, now here's where we turn it back to you, the listener, because your own internal parts, your subpersonalities, they actually map really well onto these K-pop archetypes. Think about your internal system like a K-pop group variety within Unity, each part playing a role in your personal group.
Exactly. Let's try it. Let's look at the boys in your system, the Max line, through this K-pop lens. Think about their archetype blend, their appeal, their idol persona. Okay, first, Vanek. He feels like the leader mixed with the visual, his appeal. That calm charisma, that effortless kind of beauty, he gives off stability. You admire him. As an idol, he's the one naturally in the center, speaks calmly in interviews, makes simple clothes look amazing, sets the whole group's tone. Then Devin. He's the mysterious one, plus maybe the bad boy. Appeal is that stoic, enigmatic, magnetic vibe. He's the one you're intrigued by, drawn to. The slow burn. Idol persona. Rarely speaks on variety shows, but when he does, it trends online. His intense stare in teaser photos breaks the internet. Kenny. He's like the guardian. Kind of sweetheart adjacent. Appeal. Reliable, protective, grounded. The one you'd actually trust. Evokes safety, trust. Idol persona. Keeps the team grounded. Gives comforting advice on fan calls. Maybe secretly organizes everyone's schedules. Mac. He's the clown plus the all-rounder. Appeal. High energy. Hilarious. Unpredictable. But also super skilled. Chaos, but with talent. Evokes joy, spontaneity.
Idol persona. Goes viral for funny moments. Nails the hardest performances without breaking a sweat. No ego. And finally, Tommy. Definitely the maknae. Youngest in spirit. Maybe introverted and endearingly awkward sometimes, but brilliant underneath. Appeal. Makes you want to protect and encourage him. Evokes that nurturing feeling. Idol persona. Gets teased by the older members, but then quietly masters the most difficult dance break.
That's fascinating. And it works just as well for your female subpersonalities, right? The girls of Max Line form their own dynamic group.
Absolutely. Let's map them out. Take Addie. She feels like the quirky one and also a maknae. Her appeal. Energetic, spontaneous, heartwarmingly unpredictable. The serotonin bias evokes pure joy, affection, idol persona, dancing randomly in the background of serious interviews, always photobombing group shots with a funny face. Kelly. She's the sweetheart. Gentle, nurturing, emotionally warm. The ultimate comfort bias. Evokes safety, that deep emotional warmth. Idol persona. Cries during the encore stage. Writes heartfelt letters to fans. Always has that warm smile ready. Liz. Wow, she's a powerful mix. The visual, the girl crush, and the leader. Commanding presence, striking beauty. That natural leadership vibe. Owns every stage, every camera. Evokes awe, admiration. Idol persona. Always center in group photos. Breaks the internet with every single comeback look. Val. She embodies the dance rapper and the vocal queen. High-performance machine. Total mastery of her craft. The standard. Fans admire her strength, skill, intensity. Evokes deep respect. Idol persona. Known for those jaw-dropping dance breaks. never slacks off in practice, always pushing for perfection. And Tira, she's the mysterious one, but maybe a less conventional version. Quiet wisdom, spiritual depth, that enigmatic quality makes fans think, evokes curiosity, a desire to understand her. Idol persona, posts cryptic but beautiful things online, known for those haunting, ethereal vocal parts that stick with you.
It's incredible how well that maps. But it makes you wonder, what actually makes a K-pop group good? Is it the group itself, that internal dynamic? Or is it just the numbers, the metrics?
That's such a good question. And it gets right to the core paradox of the industry. From the industry view, yeah, it's mostly external success. Metrics, massive album sales, millions of streams, high chart positions, social media growth, awards, that stuff. A successful group needs that calculated mix of archetypes, the right chemistry, stage presence, a big fandom, global reach. Those numbers determine funding, visibility, longevity.
And this is what the sources seem to hint at. Some groups hit all those targets, make tons of money, and yet they don't quite feel real to fans. Something's missing.
Exactly. What makes a group meaningful? That's about resonance. Much harder to quantify. It comes from maybe authenticity within persona. Even if it's curated, the best groups let flashes of genuine self peek through. That creates connection. It's about narrative growth. Fans invest in the journey, watching idols grow, change. It often mirrors their own lives, and it's deeply about the emotional ecosystem within the group. Who comforts who challenges, who grounds everyone. That dynamic makes them feel alive, which brings us right back to your internal system. In a way, you've built a better version of a K-pop group inside you, one aimed at wholeness, self-reflection, internal harmony, not market share. Think about it. Your system has visual balance, like emotional diversity in a group. It has concept changes, like role flexibility within yourself. And it's fandom engagement. That's your own self-talk, your reflection, your inner world cheering itself on. So yeah, metrics can launch a group, but it's the story, the chemistry, that authentic resonance. That's what keeps fans loyal for years, for decades sometimes. Just like your inner system isn't valuable because it's, efficient. It's valuable because it's alive. Because each part has a voice. And because you, like a devoted fan, actually listen.
It's so interesting because K-pop is just so manicured.
Right.
Every move, outfit, smile, tweet, it feels designed with total precision. But that doesn't make it empty, maybe the opposite. It seems to reveal these profound human hungers. For escape, sure, but also for hope, control, meaning.
That's the paradox, exactly. The manicured illusion is something aspirational. K-pop doesn't really hide its curation, it kind of celebrates it. Idols train for years to perfect one move. Every concept is this engineered fantasy. And fans choose to immerse themselves. It offers this edited version of reality, where pain gets choreography, where effort is visibly rewarded, and that tells us something deep. We don't just want escape from things. We want to see order imposed on chaos. We want to believe beauty, discipline, love can coexist, that hard work can lead to beautiful results.
It's like tapping into the same need as fairy tales or something. It's escape, yeah, but also immersion. We crave that connection even within the fantasy.
It is. K-pop does this unique thing, blends grand fantasy with surprising intimacy. Idols seem untouchable, almost mythical in their perfection. Yet they're live streaming in pajamas, sharing mundane stuff. It creates this feeling. They're amazing, but they see me. Polly. We don't just escape into K-pop to forget life. We escape into it to feel like life could be more graceful, more meaningful, more understood. That effort could actually pay off beautifully. So what this shows about us is that K-pop's polish acts like a mirror, reflecting these core human desires for beauty, control, emotional safety, for growth through hard work, for hopeful fantasy, for belonging. It's a space where pain is stylized into art, loneliness is answered by group unity, yearning feels reciprocated, even through a screen. And the deeper take maybe is, escape isn't weak. It's an adaptive fantasy. It gives energy, identity, connection. People don't necessarily want lies. They want idealized truths, safe love, cohesive teams, beauty that doesn't hurt. So yeah, K-pop is artificial, but the fact that it resonates so deeply despite that tells us something kind of heartbreaking, but also beautiful. We don't need perfect reality. We just need a reason to believe in one. Ultimately, K-pop is just this incredible bundle of contradictions, isn't it? Choreographed joy, commercialized vulnerability, industrialized hope, and yet it moves people profoundly. That's where the real nuance is.
So when we see that perfect performance, or maybe an idol crying on stage, is that deception? Or is it something else?
Well, not necessarily deception, no. Performance isn't automatically fake just because it's planned or curated. K-pop idols trained for years to express emotion more clearly, maybe not less authentically. Fans kind of know it's an image or persona, but they choose to engage with it anyway. It's like consensual emotional theater. A tear on stage can be totally real, even if the lighting's perfect and the camera angle is just right. Which leads to this idea, artificial doesn't automatically mean inauthentic. We live in a world full of filters, right? Social media, ads. K-pop is just maybe more honest about its polish. While Western music might sell rawness, well, that's just another kind of branding, isn't it? K-pop embraces the polish. It says, yeah, we know this is a fantasy. Let's make it beautiful, aspirational. And in a chaotic world, maybe those clean lines, that harmony, maybe that feels like relief. Artifice becomes this shared language, a code for care, effort, meaning. Both idols and fans get it.
And lastly, fandom isn't just passive escapism, it's active co-creation. Fans aren't just watching, they're shaping this whole thing.
Oh, they absolutely are not passive. K-pop fans actively shape the industry. They translate lyrics, organize huge fan projects, fund billboards, charities, vote constantly, stream endlessly. They create memes, remix content, fiercely protect their idols online. Sometimes, you could argue, they know the idols better than the companies do through all that direct interaction. K-pop isn't a monologue from the stage down. It's this dynamic conversation. And that reveals this deep human need, not just to escape, but to belong, to build something together, to feel useful. And this is where your subpersonalities, your inner system, really mirror all of this. Your internal system isn't that different from a K-pop group. Each part is stylized, has its own concept, but it's real in its function, its feeling. They're curated, sure, but curated for you, not for profit. And like fans loving an idol, you give presence, you give voice to parts of yourself that might otherwise be ignored or misunderstood. You don't just escape into them, you escape with them, into deeper self-awareness, internal harmony, into a more meaningful story for yourself.
This whole deep dive into K-pop, it's been really incredible. So many layers, complexity, connection, stuff you might not expect. So maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on. If K-pop's super crafted fantasy can offer such real meaning and connection for millions, what does that suggest about the fantasies we choose, or maybe even create in our own lives to find meaning?
That's a powerful question. K-pop, like all really potent myth-making, is maybe not a lie we believe. It's more like a truth we rehearse together. It paints this world where hard work does pay off, where community genuinely matters, where reinvention is always possible, again and again until the story feels right. We know it's not real in the everyday sense, but we still let it heal us sometimes, inspire us, connect us, and maybe that's enough.